Yeah, and I mean it sounds like a lot of this comes from some pain and some rough times in your life, of different aspects of your life that you had a chance to finally resolve. And a lot of it has to do with your heritage and the fact that you felt like you have a foot in two different worlds.
Correct, yeah. So I always wanted to do this project. It was like in the back of my head. Like the first intro, Chicano Part 1 is a poem that actually... in 2008 is when I wrote the poem. I was in San Diego State taking a Chicano Studies class. And I wanted to talk about, like you said, being in both worlds, being Mexican and American at the same time. And what it meant, because a lot of people struggle with their identity because you don't fit in with the Americans, and then you don't fit in with the Mexican people because you're too brown or you're too Americanized for the brown people. So I wanted to do a project for my heritage, and especially these times with all the protests going on about Black Lives Matter and all that stuff, and even brown lives, like being taken. I thought it was a perfect project to be released around this time as well, to kind of give an uplifting message that. I'm proud of where I come from.
Yeah, and the new album starts off with the intro track that you mentioned earlier, and it provides kind of a historical overview of, well, maybe that's not the intro track.
The second track, Savage Bloodline, yes.
Savage Bloodline provides a historical overview about going way back to the conquistadores when they came into Mexico from Spain.
Yes.
And took over the Aztec culture, forced everyone to assimilate. That's where it starts.
Exactly. Yeah, I wanted to take it back. So if you think about it, it's kind of like a history lesson because it takes it back. I did it from the point of view of an Aztec. So when I'm talking, it's like in first person, and pretty much like all the trauma that we had to go through, or like my ancestors had to go through, and then it kind of moves it on to U.S. land when I talk about the Rosero program, where it was like a bunch of the farm workers had to get visas to come and work over here, and some of them actually ended up staying. And that's where some of my family members came and started, creating their own generations. Program. Yeah, so my grandpa, step-grandpa, but I consider him like my blood grandpa, he actually came because of that program here to the United States. So that's how a lot of people built their generations here. So I thought it was important to tell that story because not a lot of people know about that. And then do it through rap, because I grew up with like KRS-One, Immortal Technique when I talk about the history. And it makes me want to learn more. So that's what I want people to take from it, is to try to research their culture and learn about it and be proud of it.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like I learned a lot just by listening, not only about the historical context, but, what's going on currently.
Exactly.
It's your story,
yes.
But it's not your story alone.
Exactly. Yeah, I try to do it like, put a little bit of myself in there, but also a little bit, like you said, about the whole culture as a whole. So that way people can relate to it, that are like, it's another brown girl, can be like, oh shit, I've been through that as well,
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
I hope that I'm proud that you actually caught on to that stuff. You not being obviously like, from that culture, but like for you to like, be able to like hear everything I was saying, that's important to me because that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, and I think you did a good job. I think people will know.